99% quit here. The 1% who win do this. The place where most people give up. There is a moment almost everyone reaches. A moment that looks small from the outside, but inside, it feels heavy. It is the moment when you feel tired. Tired of trying. Tired of hoping. Tired of starting again. You look at your effort. You look at your results, and they do not match. You worked hard, but nothing changed, or at least nothing you can see. This is the place where 99% quit. Not at the beginning, not on day one, not when things are exciting. People quit here, when effort feels invisible, when progress feels slow, when silence feels loud. This place is dangerous because it looks like failure, but it is not. It is the testing point. Life is asking you one question. Are you serious, or are you just emotional? Most people answer without words. They stop. They tell themselves a story. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm not talented. Maybe success is for other people. They walk away quietly. No drama, no noise. And that is why they never win. The truth is simple. Winners are not special people. They do not have magic power. They do not avoid pain. They just do one thing differently. They do not stop here. This is the first rule of the 1%. They understand something early. Quitting feels like relief, but it creates regret. Continuing feels painful, but it creates strength. Most people choose relief. A few choose strength. That choice changes everything. You see, motivation is not the problem. Everyone feels motivated at the start. You feel motivated when the dream is new, when the vision is clear, when the future looks bright. But motivation is emotional, and emotions do not stay. Sooner or later, motivation leaves, and when it leaves, reality arrives. Reality is boring. Reality is slow. Reality is lonely. This is where the 99% leave. They think something is wrong. They think they failed. But nothing is wrong. This is normal. Growth is quiet. Real progress is invisible at first. Think about a seed. When you plant it, nothing happens. No sound, no movement. But under the ground, everything is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. If you stop watering the seed, it dies. Not because it was weak, but because you stopped too early. Your dream works the same way. The problem is not that you are failing. The problem is that you are judging too soon. The 1% understand this. They do not panic when results are slow. They do not quit when praise is missing. They trust the process even when they cannot see it. This trust is not blind hope. It is built from a decision that says, I will not stop here. The 99% wait for proof. The 1% move without it. They do not need applause. They do not need validation. They need progress, even if it is small. One step, one lesson, one improvement. This is how they separate from the crowd. Failure does not stop most people. Waiting does. Waiting for results, waiting for recognition, waiting for confidence. But confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Confidence is built after. The 1% know this. They act when they feel unsure. They continue when they feel tired. They do not ask, do I feel like doing this? They ask, is this what needs to be done? This mindset is rare. That is why winners are rare. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people want success without transformation. They want results without patience. They want growth without pain. But life does not work that way. Every level requires a new version of you, and that version is built here, at the point where quitting feels logical. This is where discipline is born. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. It protects your future from your moods. The 99% live by feelings. The 1% live by standards. Feelings change, standards stay. This is not about being strong all the time. It is about showing up anyway. You can feel tired, you can feel scared, you can feel lost, and still continue. That is the difference. Winners do not wait to feel ready. They move while feeling unready. They do not wait for clarity. Clarity comes from action. Most people think winners are confident first. That is wrong. Confidence is built by surviving hard days, by not quitting when it hurts. Each time you continue, something changes inside you. Your mind becomes tougher. Your excuses become weaker. You start trusting yourself, not because life is easy, but because you learned you can handle it. This is power. Quiet power. No one sees it at first, but it grows fast. The 99% quit because they feel alone. The 1% accept loneliness. They understand that growth separates you. When you stop doing what everyone else does, you stop being understood by everyone else. That is the price. Most people are not ready to pay it. They want comfort and growth together, but you must choose one first. Comfort feels good now. Growth feels good later. The 1% choose later. They do not chase fast rewards. They chase long-term freedom. They know one truth. If they quit now, they will have to start again later, and later is always harder. Time does not make dreams easier. It makes regret heavier. That is why they stay. Even when progress is slow, even when doubt is loud, they stay. This is the place where the path splits. One path goes back to comfort, the other goes forward to growth. Both are hard, but only one leads to freedom. The 99% turn back. The 1% move forward. Not because they are fearless, but because they refuse to stop here. This is the first lesson. You are not weak because you feel like quitting. You are human. You become strong when you continue anyway. If you are here right now, if you feel tired, if you feel stuck, you are closer than you think. Do not confuse discomfort with failure. This moment is not the end. It is the entrance to the 1%. Stay, continue, do not stop here. Part 2. Pain, Discipline, and the Quiet Transformation. There is something no one tells you about winning. Winning hurts long before it feels good. Pain is not an accident. Pain is part of the design. The moment you decide not to quit, pain shows up, not to stop you, but to test you. This is where many people get confused. They think pain means something is wrong. They think struggle means they chose the wrong path. But the opposite is true. Pain often means you are exactly where you should be. Every meaningful change creates resistance, inside you and outside you. Your old habits resist. Your comfort resists. People around you resist. They say you are doing too much. They say you are changing. They say you should relax. What they really mean is this: your growth makes them uncomfortable. The 99% listen to those voices. The 1% listen to something deeper. They listen to the quiet voice inside, the one that says, "Keep going." This voice is not loud. It does not scream. It whispers, and you can only hear it when you slow down. Pain sharpens this voice. When life is easy, you drift. When life is hard, you focus. Pain removes distractions. It forces honesty. You stop pretending. You stop lying to yourself. You see clearly. That clarity is a gift, but most people run from it. They escape pain with comfort. They numb it with entertainment. They hide from it with excuses. The 1% do something else. They stay present. They ask better questions. What is this pain teaching me? What must change? What must improve? Pain becomes feedback. This is where discipline is born.
Discipline does not come from motivation. It comes from commitment. Motivation says, I will do it when I feel ready. Discipline says, I will do it because I decided. This difference changes everything. The 99% wait for the mood. The 1% act without it. They wake up when it is uncomfortable. They work when it is boring. They train when it is hard. Not because they love pain, but because they love the future more. Discipline is not dramatic. It is quiet. It looks boring from the outside. Same routine, same habits, same effort, day after day. Most people do not respect discipline because it has no instant reward, but discipline compounds. One day does not change your life, but 1 year of discipline does. The 1% understand time. They do not rush results. They respect process. They know something powerful. Speed creates pressure. Consistency creates freedom. Pressure breaks people. Freedom builds them. That is why they move slowly, but they never stop. Loneliness appears here. Not because you want it, but because your path is different. You stop going where everyone goes. You stop doing what everyone does. So you walk alone. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Then it feels heavy. You wonder if it is worth it. You question your choices. This is another quitting point. The 99% return to the crowd. The noise feels safe. The 1% stay alone. They learn something important. Silence builds strength. When no one is watching, you meet yourself, your fears, your doubts, your limits. You face them without distraction. This is how identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. This shift is slow, but it is permanent. You begin to trust yourself, not because life is easy, but because you survived hard days. Confidence grows here. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind. The kind that does not need approval. You stop explaining your goals. You stop seeking permission. You simply work. This makes you dangerous, not to others, but to your old limitations. Pain also teaches patience. Patience is misunderstood. It is not waiting. It is working without panic. The 99% panic when results are slow. The 1% adjust and continue. They understand that mastery takes time. Skills need repetition. Strength needs stress. Wisdom needs mistakes. Nothing valuable grows fast. Nature never rushes, yet everything is completed. This is a law. You cannot skip stages. If you avoid pain now, you delay growth later. If you face pain now, you accelerate growth later. This is the trade. The 1% accept it early. They do not ask life to be easier. They ask themselves to be stronger. Strength does not arrive suddenly. It is built quietly, one hard choice at a time. You choose to train when tired. You choose to study when bored. You choose to continue when unsure. These choices stack. Over time, you become someone new. Not because you planned it, but because you earned it. The 99% look for hacks. The 1% build habits. Hacks give short wins. Habits give long freedom. This is why the 1% look calm. They are not calm because life is perfect. They are calm because they are prepared. Preparation removes fear. Fear comes from uncertainty. Discipline reduces uncertainty. When you show up every day, you know who you are. And when you know who you are hard to stop. Pain stops controlling you. Doubt loses its power. You still feel them, but they no longer decide for you. This is real power. Not control over life, control over yourself.
Most people never reach this point because they quit too early. They quit before discipline forms. They quit before confidence grows. They never meet the stronger version of themselves. But if you stay, if you continue, you will change. Slowly, quietly, permanently. One day you will look back and realize something shocking. The pain you feared was the door you needed. The loneliness you hated was the space where you grew. The discipline you resisted was the tool that saved you. This is the hidden path of the 1%. It is not glamorous, it is not loud, but it works. And once you step on it, there is no going back. Because you have seen what is possible, and you will never accept less again. Part 3. Until you win, no matter how long it takes. At some point, everything becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. You stop asking many questions. You stop looking for shortcuts. You make one decision. I will continue until I win. This decision changes how you see everything. Time stops being your enemy. Failure stops being your fear. They become tools. The 99% set limits. They say they will try for 1 year. They say they will try until they feel tired. They are already planning their exit. The 1% remove the exit. They do not say when, they only say until. Until I improve, until I learn, until I win. This mindset is dangerous, not because it is extreme, but because it works. When you remove time pressure, you remove panic. When panic disappears, focus appears. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You start building. This is where real progress begins. Winning is not a moment. It is a process made of small actions, done every day. Most people underestimate small actions because they look weak, but small actions are powerful. They are easy to repeat. They are easy to recover from. Miss one day, continue the next. No drama. The 1% understand this. They do not chase massive change. They chase small wins. One better habit, one better decision, one better response every day. This creates momentum. Momentum is quiet at first. Then it becomes unstoppable. The hardest part is the beginning, when effort feels heavy and results feel absent. This is another quitting point. The 99% stop here. The 1% lower the bar, not the standard. They say, just show up today. They do not try to win the year, they try to win the day. This is how mountains are climbed. One step, then another. No rush, no panic, just movement. Belief becomes important here. Not loud belief, not fake confidence, quiet belief. The belief that says, I do not see it yet, but I trust the process. The 99% need proof to believe. The 1% believe before proof arrives. This belief guides action. You wake up and work, not because you feel inspired, but because you believe it matters. Belief without action is useless. Action without belief is exhausting. The 1% combine both. They work, they wait, they adjust, they repeat. Doubt still appears, but doubt no longer controls them. They learn something important. Doubt is a feeling. Commitment is a decision. Feelings change. Decisions stay. This is why they keep going, even when results are slow, even when silence is loud. They trust that growth is happening below the surface, like roots under the ground. One day, something changes. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but clearly. You realize you are stronger, calmer, more focused. Things that once felt hard now feel normal. You did not notice the change because you were busy working. This is how transformation happens. Quietly.
The world still does not see it, but you do. This builds peace. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining your journey. You know who you are becoming, and that is enough. The final stage is simple. Consistency becomes identity. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who does. This is when success becomes inevitable. Not fast, but certain. Because you stopped quitting. The world rewards people like this. Not because life is fair, but because persistence compounds. Most people disappear. You stay. Opportunities find those who stay. Skills sharpen over time. Reputation builds slowly. One day, others notice. They say you were lucky. They say you are talented. They did not see the quiet years. They did not see the lonely days. But you remember. You remember the moment you almost quit. The moment you stayed. That moment changed everything. This is the secret of the 1%. They do not stop. Not when tired, not when doubted, not when afraid. They slow down. They adjust. They rest if needed. But they do not quit. This is the rule. You can fall 100 times, but if you stand up one more time, you are still in the game. Winning is not about speed. It is about endurance. The one who stays the longest learns the most. The one who learns the most eventually wins. If you are still reading this, you are not like most people. You are still here. That means something inside you refuses to give up. Listen to that. Protect it. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be fearless. You need to be consistent. Keep showing up. Keep improving. Keep believing. Even when it feels slow. Especially when it feels slow. Because that is where the 99% quit. And that is exactly where the 1% are made. Say it clearly. I will not stop until I win. Say it again. I will not stop until I win. Then take one small step today. That's all it takes. Not speed, not luck, just refusal to quit. And time will do the rest. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Self-Study Every Day for more helpful lessons. Leave a comment and tell me what you want to learn next.